Hi, Patty.
Okay. Hi, Patty. Hey, everybody. I'd like you to meet Sherry Lynn here for a minute.
Hi there.
She's not shy. She's the family media coordinator here today.
Right.
She's doing a great job, and the Finicums are, of course, just completely overwhelmed. So we appreciate someone like you organizing all this.
Well, we're doing our best. We're on your side. We're friendly media here.
Well, friendly to some media.
To them, we're friendly. Yeah. We're here in Salt Lake, K-Talk Radio, Liberty Lineup. So anyway, we're glad that you come, and we hope that you have a wonderful time in this beautiful country.
And it is a beautiful country. Thank you, Sherry
Right,
Lynn,
and
we'll be talking with you as the day goes on.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. See you inside.
Love the tar.
Yeah. Hey, you got to see this. Hey, everybody. I'm Patricia from Sacred Cow Barbecue, and it's my privilege to be here today. You'll notice I'm wearing this little blue square. It's actually a piece of a tarp. I'm not going to talk about it too much because it'll make me cry. And if you've been following this story, you know what it's about. So it's my privilege today to introduce someone that's going to be helping us kind of keep a handle on this. And she has roots that run deep in this area. As a matter of fact, her mother's maiden name was Bunker. And when the first time she met Clive and Bundy, he told her lots of stories about her grandfather. So please welcome Dr. Shelley Johnson.
Hi,
from
great to be here.
Pitchfork Radio.
Jeez. Okay, I got you two together.
Okay, so we're just I hear
Uh-oh.
Fran. Tell me that Fran Thornton's here when I hear the shofars. I know he can't be far away. And so he's got a warrant out for his arrest. And so apparently the sheriff here told him that he was safe in this county and that they appreciated what they were doing up in Oregon. And so that's interesting. But we also have a report that the feds have taken over all the hotel rooms in Kanab. So I mean they're not far behind, and I'm sure we'll be spotting them as the day goes on. But so far the sheriff's department here has been very kind and helpful to us. Right now, Terry Joyce is wearing our press badge. We're lucky number 11. So Michelle, anything you want to add to this right now?
Well, like you said, my roots run deep here, and so I'm very conflicted in my feelings about being here. I love the land. I have roots all over Utah, and this is just so heartbreaking and so disturbing that we have to be meeting together as patriots under these circumstances. It's very difficult today, and it's going to get worse.
Lots of trucks have lots of decals already and signs put up on them, for LaVoy. And right here where we're standing on the corner of this intersection with the church. You'll see the Latter-day Saints church behind us in the red rocks. It's a beautiful location. And when the hearse comes one way, there's going to be a procession of horses, and they've got the horses all lined up, and they're going to be coming up the street by us. And so that's another thing that they've got planned to honor LaVoy. So we've been seeing a lot of trucks so far. I've seen California, Nevada, and Utah plates, but I'm sure there's people from all over. We've heard people from all over the country are going to be at this event. So it's set up. They're actually set up for a lot. They're doing a live feed inside from what we hear, because there are other churches and other places to be able to broadcast this, for the Finicums to people that couldn't make it here today. So that's pretty great that they were able to do that. Okay, so we're just seeing everybody there. So far, everyone's been very friendly with us, and we see
Quite a bit of press here. We have KSL from Salt Lake here.
That's the CBS affiliate, Michelle.
Right.
That's their van's right over there.
Yeah.
Right over there.
So I expect this will be national if the media will carry it.
The Bundys were about a half an hour, maybe 45 minutes behind us. When we spoke to them this morning, Carol Bundy said she was busy all night making sandwiches, and this morning making breakfast, because a bunch of militia showed up at their house last night to escort them up here. We didn't see any buildup of any kind of police force as we drove through these roads. We just saw a couple sheriff's vehicles, and that was it. So I think they're going to be, I'm hoping they'll be pretty safe, and thinking that's what's going on. So the story that I think I'm most disturbed about is that Zuckerberg is refusing to take off a Facebook page that is calling for shooting cattle on public lands, and also shooting ranchers. and they're refusing to take that down. So we've called some sheriffs in our area, and hope that they'll put pressure on Facebook to take that down because that is against law. Now, Michelle, if you and I called for shooting of FBI agents, and do you think they would leave that page up?
Of course not, and we would have a knock at our door as well.
Exactly. So it's as you can see, that's really just another government page. They're running a huge psyop about this, and it's absolutely disgusting that a gentle, good, soft-spoken man like Ammon Bundy is in solitary confinement, wasn't allowed to attend. That none of them were allowed to attend their own grand jury hearing yesterday. It's just absolutely ridiculous. But that's the reason they gave to keep him, not to let him out on bail because they're afraid he wouldn't attend court proceedings. Really? And you don't let him attend when he's there. So just their usual Department of Injustice double standard that they're running here. They have got the on switch flipped on, and it's pretty disturbing that the federal buzzsaw is in such a predicament. Terry, why don't you get Brand over here blowing the shofar?
Well, I found horn blowers.
Brand.
God is what we're talking about. And Numbers chapter 10, verses 8 and 9 are my favorite scriptures from the promise that comes along with it. And it's from the sons of Aaron, for the trump of God, they shall be delivered from their enemies. God shall intervene to fight for God. Trumpet of God.
Well,
Same ones they brought down the walls of Jericho, Moses, is what they used. These were their trumpets.
and these are made from what type of animal?
It's a kudos antelope. It's found in Africa. And these came directly from Israel. We got them from Israel priests that handmade them. Kudos to you.
Well, kudos. Well, I actually think the defensive strategy that you folks have put out with this actually helped all those people in that vehicle not be massacred. It's just amazing that only one man is dead here.
It is. And I've seen miracles after miracles with it. I really feel if I had to leave one day and I was going to be back the next day, and that's when it all happened.
That's right. You came down to do a deposition in Las Vegas, and so you were gone. But there is a warrant out for you right now.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What's your name?
Brand Thornton. Spread farm.
And he was blowing that every day up at
Yes.
every morning at a certain time?
I try to do it every morning between 7 and 7:30, which sometimes I had a horrible cold. I just got over it.
I brought you some vitamin C, my friend.
Oh, thank you.
So was you up in Oregon with him? Or?
Yes. Oh, yeah. We're there together.
So what's your name, sir?
Nikolai, Nickaoli. Thornton, H-O-R-N-T-O-N, with direct sense of Matthew Thornton, one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence from New Hampshire, along with Josiah Bartlett and William Whipple.
You guys came from New Hampshire?
No.
Oh,
Our family.
Your family's
Way
from New
back. Yeah, that's a couple hundred years ago.
Where do you guys live now?
Well, we just moved to Cedar City. And I'm going back to my other place. I'm sure it won't take very long for the FBI to show up. So I talked to the sheriff there in Cedar City. I talked to the sheriff here in King County. They're taking care of us. They're constitutional sheriffs. And one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to
Okay, I actually have low power right now. I don't know why it went by that fast. I'm going to have to charge. That's odd.
And if we don't take care of our ranchers and our farmers, where's our food going to come from? Come on, people.
Well, that they don't. That's the whole point, isn't it?
That is the point.
Yeah,
That's the whole point.
Engineering a famine.
Exactly. Henry Kissinger said the way you take control of the people is you take their food away from them. Control the food sources. And that's where we're going. And we're going really fast. It's really happening very, very fast. So we got to do something. We got to do something now. So that's the idea with the militias. I want eventually to be able to have a really close relationship.
Oh man, you got to be kidding me! Low power issues
With the National Guard. And by the way, everybody remembers Ronnie Wood, who was killed in Kirkuk. Yeah, that was my godson. Okay, his father, Ron Wood Sr., is my best friend. Right? And Ronnie Wood was the 222. You know what the 222 used to be? The Mormon Battalion. You want to know who the first person was to join the Mormon Battalion? My
She had 2.5 hour charge on there like
name's Calvin Earl.
5 minutes ago.
Go down to Pine Valley and there's a monument with him and his name there. That was my great-great-grandfather. And the Mormon Battalion later became the 222 Battalion, National Guard Battalion. So, yeah, so there's a lot of interesting history there.
I got it. Okay. The satellite trucks are what, the news media?
It's just, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's just going to.
Yeah, we're gonna figure that out. I'll get charged. Okay, be back. I will. I'll go till it crashes, and then recharge.
Okay, so
So-
we're gonna recharge.
Yeah. Should we just go? There's not a whole lot going on now, so I think maybe should we just go ahead and recharge?
Yeah, I think we should recharge, and we'll let you know before we start up again. What we really want to see is the horse procession and stuff. And so I think it would be in our best interest to be inside for whatever services are going on right now.
Okay.
As in respect to the family.
Right. Okay. Okay. Well, I'll ask around and see if I can find another smartphone. Okay. All right. Bye.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Wait. What'd you say, Mike?
I said, give me a second. I was getting lined up to go live. You're live in.
Okay.
in
He said give me a sip.
5,
Okay.
4, 3, go.
Now.
Okay. Hey everyone, Patricia with Sacred Heart Barbecue. We're here in Kanab, and they're just trying to finish up the viewing. There's so many people here. We're just trying to figure out the numbers, just the numbers that we're seeing in the gymnasium section alone. Boyd, my friend Boyd here, he figured it out at probably like 1,500 people, and that's just the people in that section. There's a whole nother big section and lots of people milling around outside. So this has been well turned out. I just talked to some ranchers from Oklahoma. They drove all the way here just for this event. So people have come. This man touched lives. Boyd, what brought you up?
Well, got to talk to some people back in San Diego, and they said they were coming out here, so I thought maybe I'd come up too. Really, by looking at the boys' videos and reading his obituary and what he's done in his life is just so impressive. And then have been following the Bundy thing a few years back and the current Mauer preserve thing. And just think it's a good thing to show support for.
Great. You want to show us the brochure, the program? I don't know if you can get a shot of that.
I think so.
Hawk, we're hoping to be talking to Mr. Stanton here soon. He's the man who's a double amputee that was up at the resource center, and he's going to be back. He just went in to warm up for a little bit, and he'll be back out to talk with us about why he's here and what brought him up there. So it's a sad day here, very sad day. And everybody I ask, I say, is this a flash in the freedom pan, or is this thing going to spread? And they all say no, it's spreading. Absolutely. I'll shoot a copy of it for you, and we'll get it up there so people can see what the program was. And Ariana Brown, which is one of his daughters, just gave a press conference. The gal that's doing the press conference is a radio host herself. She's doing a great job because there's some hostile media here as well as us alternative people. And Ariana Brown was just, I don't know how she could say everything she said. I would have been in a puddle of tears myself. And she was just another strong woman in the Finicum family. It's pretty impressive how this family behaves under this kind of pressure and grief. So we know that the next thing that's going to happen is after the actual funeral, what they're calling the service here, there's going to be a private burial later. There's going to be the horse procession coming by right after that, and that's going to be following the hearse. And then there's also going to be a song service, and Victoria Sharp is going to be singing, as well as the Finicum girls are going to be doing singing. That's going to be over at, I think they said the intermediate school. We haven't quite found out where that is. Someone just said follow the leader on that, so we'll see what we can do for that. So this is our report for right now. We wish it was longer, but we got to conserve our battery.
Is that cool? All right. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, we're going to drop off. Give Victoria Sharp your...
Oh, yeah, we'd love to. We'll see. In my dreams, we'll see what we can do.
Okay. We're with...
That's what
okay,
we'd like you to do.
we're ready.
Okay.
Ready.
Very good. Hey, we're here with James Stanton. He was one of the people that was up at the refuge. And he has got some things that he'd like to say about LaVoy because he's been there and why he went up. And he's, as you'll be able to see, he has prosthetic legs. And so he'll tell us a little bit of that story as well.
Probably not. I probably won't tell you that story because I want to do nothing more than honor LaVoy.
Okay, well, I'd like you to also honor Ammon and tell him why you gave him your dress uniform.
I'll do that too, yeah.
Okay, very good.
In fact, all the Cowboys.
Okay, you're on.
Really, the thing that drove me, I was headed to Iowa, the Iowa Veterans Rally of course. And I sat down and I prayed. I was going to take my dress blues. I have a set of Navy dress blues. Senior chief for 20 years. Nothing. But anyway, the ones that you've seen on the Facebook with the gold hash marks, those were mine. And I dedicated those to Ammon and really all of the patriots up there because I was sick and tired of working for people that I thought were not worth listening to, I guess. And LaVoy was one of the first people I met. In fact, when I was there, I was just trying to find my place, just trying to figure out what I was supposed to do there, what God's mission was for me there. All of a sudden, it just kind of, everybody started melting together. And LaVoy would always have time to stop and talk to us. And I remember one of the guys, Clooney, we were at the fire.
That's Jason Patrick.
Yeah, Mike. I'm sorry. Can you stop? Can you just stop for a moment? What, Mike? Okay, right here. Okay, how about right here? Okay, here we go. We had a little bit of wind there. We couldn't hear you as well.
Oh.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so I was finding my place up there at the refuge. I was willing to do anything I needed to do to be part of this patriotic movement. I swore an oath to the Constitution to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And everybody that remembers that oath and all these percenters, these patriots, they support the same oath. And our enemies are domestic. The domestic enemies are in the White House and in D.C. And they want to paint me as a terrorist. And my record is up for review. All 20 years of my service and whatever else I did is all up for review. And for those of you who think that are seeking miracles, I'll leave it
Can we go to a place that we won't have as much? Let's try to get. That's where we're not supposed to be at. We should probably
Can you do it right in front of
the car here. Okay.
better?
Is this better right here?
Yeah, just as long. I couldn't hear him a lot of times because we were just getting a.
What if I sit in the van?
That would be awesome. That would get rid of the.
Okay, all right. All right. All right. Kind of a little bit loose right there. It's awful. It's windy, huh? It's cold out here.
It's not.
Yeah, well, I'm one of those wimpy California people.
Be glad I didn't send you to Oregon.
No, your water bottle.
Oh,
What can we do to help you get in?
nothing.
No. Okay.
Do this all the time.
Alrighty. Okay.
Okay, here we go. How about here?
Here, it's fine.
Oh, that's much better. The wind's almost completely gone.
Okay,
There
great.
you go. Okay, carry on, sir.
Carry on, sir, is
Okay, I
what
don't
Mike
know what
Greenlee,
what was I
Quit
at?
Heart Night
What
Hawk
was that?
says.
Oh, okay. So today I have silenced a great many things today, and it's because I want to honor LaVoy. If there is ever to be a Presidential Medal of Freedom awarded in the next administration, the first one should be to LaVoy's family, not the president that's going out. In fact, what we need to do is flush him down the toilet. But today we're here to honor LaVoy, and I only knew him for 8 days. He always managed to find a second to say hello to me and to say God bless you and that he loved me. And he was the last person that I saw when I left the refuge. I got out and I was tired and I was dirty and I had not shaven for a while, and there was a bunch of cameras there, and he was giving the daily briefings. And I got out and I said, I've got to go home, and I'll try to be back and things of that nature, and I'll see you when I see you. Well, I got out and he said, I love you. Thank you for your prayers. I prayed with him at the front gate a couple of times during his daily briefings, and he held me up. He held me up when I was on my knees praying without prosthetics. And that is a cowboy. And the cowboys are the last rank of heroism there is, you see? And the day that we have to lay a cowboy to rest for a terrorist movement is the day that maybe we need to seek out 50 good men in D.C., and if we can't find 50 good men, maybe they need to go. So I gave a flag which flew over Ramadi, Iraq, that a Navy SEAL gave me for helping out a SEAL team once in a combat zone. That was a special flag. I gave it to my son on my retirement. He said he wanted it brought to LaVoy. I brought it to LaVoy. It's a small flag. Means a lot to us, and therefore if you give away the things that mean the most, that means you're really practicing your brotherly love. And I think that if you live by two rules, the same way Ammon would have you live, or LaVoy would try to live, or we all should try to live. We love our neighbors as ourselves. And then you have to find a way to honor your father and your mother. Some of you may say, my father and mother weren't worth honoring. That is not true. If they weren't worth honoring, you wouldn't be here. So I had to sift through all of what I thought was a horrible upbringing. But to be honest, it gave me the toughness to get through. And I found myself going to the veterans rally. I prayed for the first time. Never believed in God until like 7 months ago. Going to, oh yeah, that's my wife right there. Anyway, I never believed in God, so we prayed. I was supposed to go to the Veterans Rally. I ended up in Oregon at the refuge with a plan to tell them that I had a bomb to get in there because I wanted to be part of the Patriot movement. The revolution I've been telling my kids about all of their lives, that finally one day we'll get enough and we'll stand up for freedom. And the way I look at Ammon and all the Bundys and the Hammonds is that they are the finest patriots that there are, because the first ones, the ones who will stand where no one else will. I have no feet, but I'll stand with them. You see? And so when you do that, you stand for freedom and democracy. And when you're a patriot, you wield the spear, sharpened by men, into battle that pierces the hearts of those who would oppose freedom around the world. That's what a patriot is. And we got them, and they're out there. And some of them may be in hiding, but I saw a sign that was great. It was just as we came into Arizona. It was like a anti-Obama sign, and I thought, I like it. Let's see how many more we can put up. And I was visited by the FBI 3 days ago, and I was really mad about LaVoy, and I was hateful to them. In fact, my son slammed the door in their face after I was done making up new curse words for them. And then I said, no, that's not the way. That's not the way LaVoy would have it. That's not the way Ahmed would have it. That's not the way God would have it. That's not the way Jesus would condone it. So I put aside my anger. I got up. I went outside and I said, are you two armed? Do you have pieces? And they said, yeah. I said, you put your pieces away and I'll talk to you. And they did. They came in. And at first they felt naked without their guns. Well, I don't like people coming up on me. If you come up with a gun, then you are not my friend. You mean me harm. So I let them have it. Well, they listened to me. But at first I said, okay, this, like, I got to say to God, hey, man, this is really, I was pissed off. So I said, I sometimes just say whatever comes to my mind when I'm talking to God. And so I said, listen, God, help me out and not let me hate these guys so much, these FBI guys. And well, first I said, will y'all pray with me so I can get past this hatred I have for you? And so they said, yeah. And my son got on his knees and I got on my knees, and they did not. And I said, we get on our knees in this house to pray. And I just learned that just a few months ago. Well, I just learned how to pray, but or care about praying, like really talking to God. Like, hey, God, thank you for these new people that tell the truth. Thank you, God. Thank you for that. And why can't I say that in Jesus' name? Amen. That's a prayer.
Yep.
And eventually, you're going to find your way to truth. You're going to find your way to truth one way. I found my truth at the refuge, and I found it in brotherly love. And I felt like when I was at the refuge, I was sitting in the hand of God. And Ammon and all of them were so wonderful to me. And I cannot, nor will I ever deny the movement God has made in my spirit in the last 8 months. 8 months ago, I couldn't even talk. I stuttered, thought I had brain damage. All this I'll give to you as part of a medical record, just to prove to you that miracles happen for all the doubting Thomases. The fact is that I don't know why God has anything to do with me. I'm just a plain old no count. But I asked for forgiveness and I got it. And neither man nor God's got nothing on me now. So I'll not be afraid of evil, whether I got no arms, no legs, no nothing. I'll not be afraid of it. They can kill you, but they can't eat you. And if they do eat you, it's okay because I had Mexican food. So when you think about it this way, you need to get up and make a choice. And it's very easy to see good and evil. It's not there. This is the year where the gray areas go away.
A lot of people.
It's either wrong or it's right. And if it ain't right, you get rid of the person that ain't right. Period. Now they got to have a chance to turn too. And that's why I chose to bring those FBI agents back into the house. Because God would have me do something different. God would have me recruit instead of reject. And that's really just what happened. The incident with LaVoy is one of those necessary events that will happen. However tragic it may be, it sparked a fire in men's souls that will not be calmed. You don't shoot cowboys. No, you don't do it. And I'm not going to get into how much I want to change the world in the way of this administration yet, but I kind of want to part with something else about.
Did you give him the military outfit? Did you give Ammon Bundy his military outfit?
That was mine.
Okay. I don't think you have you talked to. I don't know if you had a chance to mention that here on the live stream.
Oh, I took my Navy dress blue jacket. It has 5 hash marks for 20 years service. I'm a senior chief, E8 retired Navy master diver. For what it's worth, and it's just a bunch of titles that really don't mean anything. But the reason I dedicated it to him because each one of those 4 years was a tough 4 years on the sleeve. There's 5 of them. That's a tough 20 years. And I served under so many people who deserve zero respect. And the only people that I think deserve any more respect are these patriots. And patriots don't have to be veterans, and veterans don't have to be patriots. And patriots can be cowboys of all kinds, whether they ride Harley Davidsons or whether they drive a Jeep. You know what LaVoy said to me when I left? I said, this is the 3 or 4 things he said to me. I said, going, he said, I love you. Thank you for your prayers. I said, I love you too. He said, my daughter saw us on TV, thought that was a really good interview from the day before. And what else did he tell me? I told him, God bless you, LaVoy, and keep you, because I believe cowboys are the last stripe of heroism you can get. And I said goodbye. And that was it. And today I'm here to give him my all the same way he would give his all to all of us. He treats each one of us as if we were the only one. Now look, these people are from everywhere. Do you honestly believe that a terrorist is going to get this kind of attention? We got one in the Oval Office who is declaring war against free men. And when I say free men, that means free women, and free men women, and free women men, whatever you want to declare. There's a place for every one of us here to be individuals. And you're not going to take our individuality. You're not going to take our spirit. You're not going to take our freedom. And you're not damn sure not going to take our patriots. That's really all I have to say for it.
Thank you.
In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very, very much. Okay, so what are we gonna? You wanna get anybody else right now, or?
Well, Skipper just walked away from us. He's been Mr. Bundy's bodyguard and helping them. So, but he wandered away. We just were
out of the occupation in Harney County.
Folks, we're live. We are also in the press area. This is Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. Getting ready for the parade. I'm going to shut up, and this is just going to be a respect and viewing. So there you go.
We're on right now.
okay. There's Cliven Bundy and his son, Aiden. No. I'll think of his name in just a second. He's the youngest son, so I think that's appropriate that the elder Bundy and the youngest are riding together here at this with this memorial flag. It was a very moving service.
It's still talking. if you want. I
No,
can hear you.
and Arden, that's his name. Cliven and Arden, right there.
Arden.
Arden, he's the youngest. I think he's a senior in high school this year, and he's kind of had to grow up real fast and following a lot of male footsteps, and he's done a good job of it.
Okay. Shit. Let's go over there.
Keep.
I wonder if I can get. I guess I can go down into here.
Terry, we need to get you a mic.
Yeah. It's very low. Sorry. Shh.
Hey, go to your forward-facing camera and turn your camera around. Turn your phone around so we can get the mic pointed at her. All right, swap camera view. What I meant was change. Go back to pointing your mic at her, please.
She's not speaking very loud.
Yes, I was gonna say if you have your mic pointed at her.
Yeah, they're not gonna do that.
Okay.
People like Cicero, Joan of Arc, Sir Thomas More. The founders of this American Republic, they all had one thing in common. They were mocked, ridiculed, and called demons.
Right.
Today's defenders of the U.S. Constitution are now called domestic terrorists. But isn't it interesting to note that yesterday's extremists typically become tomorrow's heroes? Robert LaVoy Finicums, my dad, was and is our hero. Our father read that I found his
Hey, just go ahead and turn your camera around and point it at the back of the crowd. That's fine. That way your mic is pointed at her.
and that it was the federal government that was violating.
You're here.
And we
Right.
agree with him. We also agree when the people hear the government,
Okay, sorry, that didn't work at all. Shit.
remember the strongest reason for the people to receive the right keep and bear arms is by that last moment themselves a government.
All right, right now we have, I'm sorry you can't hear it. We're having audio directivity or mic directivity issues. So we're just going to look at the crowd. And I want everybody to look at how many people are there to support exactly what we're doing. So since we can't exactly hear what she's saying or doing,
We believe that peaceful action
there we go. That's much better.
of deadly force. We believe that two hands up and surrender justifies the use of deadly force. We believe that following the rules of U.S.
What? Okay.
If we do, then where is liberty?
Where is it?
Today, many questions are being asked. Many questions are left unanswered. About our fathers, our wrongs and death. We don't want the media's bias. We don't want the FBI's bias. We want
Yeah. You're here. You're here.
find out exactly what happened to our dad. At a lone and desolate highway instead of Winchester in Eastern Oregon.
Murder.
Yep.
Amen.
Murder.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank so many people who have come far and wide to support worldwide. The love that you're pouring out to our family. We're thankful for your studying and hearing. And we urge you to study. Study out in your heart or in your mind. Where is truth? What is it? And what is liberty? Again, we thank you.
It's great.
Thank you. The award session will go this direction, and the next event is 5:30 at Kanab Middle School, and all of the leaders. Oh yes, go ahead. Yeah.
So one other thing that I want to mention and announce is that Todd McCormick, Monday the Finicums family, but we are going to be sponsoring a workshop tomorrow at the Kanab City Library. It's a workshop about Western Rangeland property rights. We'd like to invite anyone who would like to gain a better understanding of the fundamental principles that LaVoy Finicums felt strongly enough about that he would be willing to give his life for. So we are having that workshop tomorrow morning at the library while the family is having some private grave site service. So I just want you to be aware of that.
I know that's something.
As I understand that we can't hear everything that's going on here. And I'm sorry, we're doing the best we can. We're working with cell phones and smartphones and all that kind of stuff. We're doing the best we can. But you're actually getting to see it because this is closure. This is closure for this event, for all the people that are invested. And quite honestly, this is what we do. We honor the fallen, we bury our dead, we catch our breath, and go back in. And that's exactly what is going on right now. So you get to see it. You may not be able to hear every little thing, but at least we have somebody there to document this. Thank you. Also, we're having endless trouble with these satellite trucks interfering with our signal.
All right, I'm gonna try to find Patricia here.
Oh my God, it's going to be amazing. How's it going around the barn and everyone killed. So they built 40 acres of beds around it. Cheatgrass came in, Medusa head came in, no more cats.
Well, next time this happens, Terry, we need to get you a microphone. So
What?
I say next time this happens, we need to, or something like this happens, and we send you out. We need to get you a directional microphone. So what is?
Okay, here's Patricia. You
Yeah.
got an interview. Hold on.
What? Yeah. What's going on now? Oh, of course. Freeze up. Oh, great. I just lost her.
Hold on. You got disconnected.
All right. There, I got you back.
Wait. Are we connected, Mike?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. All right.
Everyone, this is Tom Davis. He's been up at the refuge supporting this, and he'd like to tell you what's really going on in Harney County right now.
Howdy, folks. I'm Tom Davis from Riley, Oregon. I live outside of the refuge area. I also own the map rundown on the refuge area. We are under siege in Harney County.
Hey,
The United
Tom.
States government
stepped up on us, and they're locking down. The United States government is forcing people to the ground, putting guns to their head, and telling them that they move, they'll pressure balls. This is our government. This is our government treating our people like we are a third world nation. Do we stand up for it, or do we step back and be little women wringing our hands? Come on,
Hey,
people, stand up. Stand up for Harney County. Stand up to get rid of these mercs and this UN nation that thinks they're going to control us. Our president down in New Zealand is signing a paper to give away our rights. Do we let it happen? Hell no. Let's become one. Let's become people. Let's become United States of America, not United States of America, Inc. Thank you.
hey, Tom, how you doing? This is Nighthawk. Hey, I know Tom.
We're looking for
Tom,
Adrian Sewell.
this is Nighthawk from Revolution Radio.
Howdy, Nighthawk.
Hey, how you doing, man? Shake that man's hand and tell him I said hi.
You bet. I sure will.
We're everywhere, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. I keep bumping into you everywhere, too.
Well, you know, I'm just doing everything I can to get this done.
You got it. Just keep spreading the word. We got to get a constitutional sheriff. We got to get a sheriff that's got some balls that'll stand up to the feds and tell them to go to hell and go home. Excuse my language.
There you go, sir. Okay, thank you very much.
You bet. Y'all have a good one. Bye
Thank
now.
you.
Thanks. Talk to you this week. Thanks so much.
Yeah,
Tom.
just give me a call.
Sure will.
All right, see you guys.
So
We're looking for Adrian Sewell right now. He's the new.
Adrian is with the family. He went back.
Oh, he went back with the family. Okay, we'll have to
I'm
catch
looking
him
for
later.
my people. My ride.
Yeah, well, you know, as usual, Nye County was here. Proud of them.
We got three. We got council safety here, 2 members. So,
Awesome.
let me check. Well, shoot. No,
you guys, did you get it?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys have a good one.
Yeah, we're on. Thanks, Tom.
You bet.
See you
Bye.
later.
you know what? I
Talk to you
can't
soon.
tell right now. So far, I think so. We're gonna. I guess we can just keep going until it goes out. I haven't gotten an alert that there's something wrong with it yet. So and we. I guess we're going.
We'll pick up again.
What? Okay.
We're going to try and pick up again from the middle school, and talk to Victoria Sharp if we can, and report back from over there. So we've got an interview coming up on this Thursday with Adrian Sewell. He had a lot of interesting things to say. He sat right behind us as the universe would have it. And so they're very willing to keep talking about this. They know they need to get the word out, and they appreciate what Revolution Radio has done to do that. So all I have to say is Revolution Radio, and they're there. Yes, sir.
He's asking if it's okay if because he uses your cell phone.
Yeah. Give anybody you want my cell phone. No problem. No problem whatsoever.
All right. So, do you think we should stay on, or you know?
I think let's go on to the next venue. We'll charge
Okay.
this, and we'll be on to the next venue. We may even get a bite to eat somewhere along the way. It's a concept. But I have to say, I've never been to a more moving service, and I'm crying about it for a long time.
Filled to capacity and then some. All the overflow was filled. The stage was filled. The halls were filled. The sides of the center were all filled with standing people. And every seat was taken. And some had more than one people in per seat. It was incredible.
Let's have you talked to the sheriff yet?
No, we haven't. Maybe would he let us talk to him?
I'm sure he will. Sheriff?
Yes.
We'd like to live stream you for a minute.
Okay.
Okay, you're working. Okay, very good. Is he around? Not here at the moment. Okay, we'll get him next time. We'll see you at the next stop, everybody. Thanks for your support today.
All right, thanks a lot.
We did see him a little bit, but we'll pretend like that didn't happen.
Yeah, I want to let everybody know, quite honestly, this. You know, I have said all day, this is.
Donna Cox. Dawn and Donna.
Oh, here we go.
Pahrump.
All right.
These are what we call mad dogs and anarchists from Pahrump. Donna's a county commissioner, and her husband. That's faithful.
Yes, you're on Revolution Radio.
What do you think of that service?
Oh, it was great. Well, I can't believe how many people are here.
There must have been over 1,000 people.
Oh no, there had to be about. We're figuring about 3,000.
I came double loaded.
Oh, there we go.
Look, can we see that for a minute? Oh yes.
And on the turnaround chair in the back of that one.
Yeah, whatever it
Remember
takes.
when?
That's right.
You remember?
Yep. Well, it was nice to see
So,
you.
what are you
Oh. Wait. Oh, here's the back.
Yeah. Well, that really means something now, you know.
Thank you.
Tell the folks that
Oh,
you've been invited
let
to
me-
next to council.
Yeah,
Donna's
American Lands Council. Actually, Nye County belongs to the American Lands Council, and I was the one that volunteered to become the person that takes care of this. Just because I'm so pissed off at everybody and everything over what's going on in this country. It's not just here, it's in all over. It's everywhere. We are in so much trouble in this country. And we've got to get our land back. That's just all there is to it.
Well,
Nevada's
well,
gonna
you
have
can't-
the
well, you
hardest
can't
time.
You can't be. You can't be.
I think the government might be in trouble.
Like you should.
Thank you.
So, yeah, we got problems in Nye County too.
Yes, absolutely.
A couple of them. We've got trouble with Fish and Wildlife with the church out there in
Right, Ash. Yep.
Ash Meadows.
I like your
That's the
necklace.
Victor Fuentes Church.
I like your
you
necklace
know,
too.
you can't get them out any other way. You flood them
Crystal,
out.
huh? It's beautiful.
Well,
I get
yeah,
it.
that's
their policy.
it's the
whatever.
Wild West. They're just
Yeah.
picking up where the bad guys left off. So
And
it's
you know,
nothing
they
new there.
fight back and they just absolutely slaughter you.
So, but we're not gonna take it anymore. And Johnny, you're a county commissioner and stuff, and I know I sent you that email about Facebook and Zuckerberg refusing to take down that just egregious page about shooting people's cattle and killing
Oh
ranchers.
yeah, I ran across that the other night. Yes, that's god awful. And
You sent it to your sheriff.
Yeah,
Have you had any word
and
from your sheriff?
I sent it to the sheriff and I sent it to the DA, and no, I haven't had anything
Well,
yet. It was just yesterday was the only day that was the first day I had it, and so but I'm sure I'll get an answer back from you.
Okay.
You know, one of the good things about it is now we have a sheriff that.
Hey, Terry, I can't see anything but the sun.
What?
I said I can't see anything but the sun, hon.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Here we go. This is good. Donna, come back here. We're just trying to get in the sun. So that
Yeah.
But now you
If you guys can get a little closer together, that would be good too.
There we go. That's better.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to be looking in the sun or not.
Yeah. Well, it's better for the us than the camera. So.
Anyway, so if it goes on, it hasn't quit since the Bundy ordeal, down there. That really woke a lot of people up.
And so, Nye County came out in force. I would say percentage-wise, there were more people from Nye County at the standoff in Bunkerville than there was from Las Vegas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would say so. That's how I counted it. And you folks are very, very active down there. And it came real close to throwing the feds out once already this year. The Bundy showed up to support that. And yet you've got a couple people on the council that are still vacillating and still
we've got
paid for by someone else.
Yeah, we've got two of them who are very much, very supportive of the government, but I don't think they realize what's really going on. And then the rest of us, of course, are pretty anti-government. And we want to get along with everybody. We want to get along with everybody. We want it to go back to the good old days when everybody respected each other. I mean, they want us to respect them, but they don't respect us back.
Yeah.
And actually, I think this is Agenda 21.
Absolutely. No doubt.
Absolutely. And the water grab. I mean, we're having problems with water out there like crazy. They want to take our water back.
That's the new oil.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, we can live without anything except water.
Right.
We're all dead if we don't have water. So.
Well, yeah, it is a desert.
Absolutely. I mean, anywhere in the United States, even, they take our water. We're all gone. And so, but I just watched Agenda 21, right? It just happened right on down the line. It's been about 30 years in the process, And even before they went to Rio de Janeiro and had that conference. And I do not.
That was the done deal once they got there.
Mm-hmm.
It was more like the announcement of what we've already implemented. Now we're just making it official.
And I don't believe these people that shot LaVoy. I don't believe they're American
Yeah, they're
FBI.
mercenaries.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I figured that out right after it happened when I was watching it. And if you look at the automobiles they were driving, the cars they were in, everything. No, and they're like robots. They have no compassion, no feeling,
Oh, the
no anything,
sociopaths.
you know? Absolutely. They're just crazy people. And that's even worse than, well, the FBI is not the greatest, but I mean, but I don't believe they would go that far because they pretty much understand our political system.
And that's why they brought the mercenaries in, because they couldn't trust their agents to do the job that they were sent there to do.
Yeah, and well, several presidents ago we got sold out to Russia and China and Germany and England. England's probably behind the whole entire thing, if you want to know the truth. I saw
Everything goes via England and directly to the Vatican.
Anglo-Zionist.
Yeah.
But
Donna, the Bundys and the folks up in the Portland County Jail are in solitary confinement.
Yeah, I think they're way overstepping their bounds on this. They all need to be out there. People need to recall them, put them out of office immediately. You know, if not from other ways.
There has to be a way to hold judges.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a common law grand jury needs to work. They need to have their enforcement arm in place, and we're hoping for that. So, Donna, you look like you're freezing. We're going to let you go, and we thank you so much.
Well, I'm glad I ran into you. But they need a change of venue. They need to get them out of that state before they can have any kind of affair, anything. There's somebody's totally embedded in what's going on up there. Yeah, I think the judge, the sheriff, and all of them are off the edge.
I have about 10% battery left.
Okay, we got 2%
At 10%.
You need a new battery.
Venue, everybody. You going to the middle school, Donna?
What's going on?
Oh, they're going to have singing. Victoria Sharp is going to be there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And the Finicum daughters are going to sing. So it'll be at the middle school at 5:30. So we'll all mosey on that way. I'm not exactly sure what the middle school is, but I'm sure we'll find out.
Well, it's 5 o'clock. We've got time now.
Okay, so we're going to keep. We're going to.
Okay, well, it's been nice talking to you. Be safe going home.
Yep.
Stay
You
in
guys
touch.
too. Are you guys going home tonight? Or are you stopping in Mesquite? Or?
No, we're gonna. I rented a car to come up here.
Yeah.
I'm in.
What'd you say, Mike?
I said we need to get whoever you have backup with a phone. We need to get that set up soon.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna charge it on the way there in the car.
Okay.
So we'll probably be charged up, and we'll have the backup phone ready too.
That's the
chilly.
idea.
How you
See, I
doing?
left mine at home. Never even used the damn thing. This would have been a perfect day. Started doing something with this guy. Who's the guy in the plane, or who's in the plane?
I heard some sheriffs talking. They said it was some news
Oh, good.
agency.
Okay.
But
So I was like creeped out.
I immediately thought it was like surveillance or something.
Yeah.
There it is. It's been circling for hours.
Yeah. Driving Clyde and Bundy came out. I don't know who the guy was there standing with them. You know, he was telling the people who's here. You know,
Oh, I missed
he's
it.
going this way, and I'm like, is that one of those guys? Or
Really? Well,
yeah,
you never
it's
know.
scary. I know.
That was a very powerful service.
Yeah.
Very emotional. The whole community We're at Osier, it seemed like, what do you think, a couple thousand people were in there?
Easy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he was loved. What's that?
I said, I'm not used to the weather.
Where'd you come out from?
California.
Okay.
Where are you from?
Washington.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh? In the state?
Yeah.
My team is Seahawks.
Are they?
Yeah. Do you like them?
Sure.
Yeah. Not really. Not said at all. We're gonna go this way, right?
Looks like it.
Okay. Anyway, take care.
Okay, have a good one.
You too.
So we just got out of the service for LaVoy Finicum. This is the ride.
They come by, take your hats off if you can.
There should be a press conference here coming up very soon. I'm going to be covering that live. I might have to drop out in between streams after this ride. I'll be covering the press conference live. Again, there was incredible turnout. At least a couple thousand people turned out to celebrate the life of LaVoy Finicum here in Utah. Great show of support. It was a very good service, very heartfelt, emotional. A lot of tears were flowing, a lot of laughs and smiles, remembering LaVoy Finicum, loved by many. Again, there's that airplane flying around. It's been circling for hours.
Hello. So if you walk straight out from the stable and actually
Here's a nice guy right here.
Here at live to the LaVoy Finicum service in Utah, Caleb, Utah. They just finished the service. They're getting ready to do a ride along. I did see Shauna Cox in there. Clive and Bundy was in attendance, as well as a couple thousand other people who showed up in support to celebrate the life of LaVoy Finicum. Again, there will be a press conference coming up here very shortly. We're going to cover that live as well. Any minute here, they're getting ready to do this ride for LaVoy. here in beautiful Utah.
Look at that. You know?
It's beautiful.
Man, is that
Sure.
a muscle horse or what? I wonder if that's a Morgan. That's a quarter horse.
You guys can see there's quite a lot of people out here. A couple thousand people, I'd say. Easy. Interest and show of support.
Eddie. Robert, Eddie, you guys all turn around. Okay. As long as you're here, stick your head out. Oh, that's great. Thank you.
So here we are live in Utah. Service for LaVoy Finicum.
I'd be taking videos right now, except for I'm on a phone. So.
plane that's been circling for hours.
I'm starting to wonder if this is a loop of some sort, because I keep getting this plane is circling for hours thing keeps coming back in. This is not our reporter. This is somebody else. Because we're saving our batteries for interviews. Which we ended up not getting.
All right.
Oh, I wondered if they were going to be selling it.
I wonder if the federal agents and OSP are crapping their pants right now while they're watching the absolute polarization of the American people at this point into this. I wonder if they realized what was going to be the effect of this. I don't know how they could not have. This has actually galvanized the resolve.
Okay, looks like they're getting ready to come down the road here.
Press conference taking a long time.
Is that what they're doing right now?
I think so. That's what they said they were going to wait.
Ellie, where are you going?
This is really for everyone that wasn't able to show up today. This is for Deb and Pete Santilli. We miss you guys.
Human blood, and it is ever lost. The only way you can get it back is by human blood. It must not.
There goes a hero right there.
And we have stopped the ability without such I would rather be Andrew Jackson and Thomas Jefferson.
I'm sorry guys, I don't really have too much to say. I'm sure you guys can understand that.
Okay, so we had our 4 kids with us. No, we had 3 kids with us. So we had 4 here.
There's that right there is Clive and Bundy. I actually got to shake that man's hand. He's just like the rest. Just a burst of energy.
We were in the river right near Clive, and then they all came in the bridge. So that's where we had our kids out there and made sure that you need to make sure that your children are really going to teach your children how to be good Americans and freedom.
Oh wow, look at the kid. Uh-oh, whoa. Wow. I can't even describe just the energy right now. These are real cowboys, folks. I don't know if you guys can see, I believe his name is Anthony. He was with Chris Ann Hall. I talked to him for a little bit. He gave me a little bit of info and some good news. Chris Ann Hall wasn't able to make it though. Wow, there's Ben, how many people you think's here? 3,000? Yeah. We've been hearing about 3,000. Oh, and just so you guys know also, I did actually, Blaine Cooper was actually inside. Got to shake his hand. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. We didn't get a chance to talk too much, so. But people were asking where he was, and he was here, and I do know Melissa's doing good, and the kids are safe, so. And then he had to run. I did get a chance to, I actually got a chance to meet Carol and Clive and Bundy. I got to meet all the Finicum family. I got to meet Jeanette Finicum, who is the wife of LaVoy. And it was just a very, I just don't even know how to explain it to you guys. I really don't. Just the energy around here is it's just amazing. It really is. That was the church. Oh, I don't know if you guys can see this, but right up there, see that? There's a flag way up there flying. Alright, you guys, well, we got to get in the vehicles and head back. I'll keep you guys updated when we get back to the hotel. I don't think there's going to be too much more videos. Me and Ben Time Traveler, we may go on live tonight. He actually figured out how to do that from the hotel room, so we'll keep the MODs posted on that.
It was a time
Alright.
that I could see that they was basically trying to manage us out of business, and I said no. And then, you know, a little time I said hell no. You're not going to manage my preemptive rights that been created to beneficial use of blood and tears of my family and my predecessors. You're not going to take that away from me and my family and my kids. And so I said no. And so what I did then is I quit signing the contracts with the federal government. But when I quit signing the contracts, I wasn't sure what I was doing. But it wasn't very long that I started to learn that I was constitutionally right. The federal government had no business claiming ownership of this land in the United States. And the more I learned, the stronger I got. And that's evolved to this day. And I'll tell you what I have learned. If we're ever going to get away from it, well, let me put a blame. These bureaucracies have got so strong, and I'm talking about BLM and Forest Service and Park Service and EPA and on and on and on. They've got so strong now that it don't matter who we elect for President of the United States. It don't matter who we elect for Congress. It don't matter who we elect for our judges or the appointed judges. The legal part don't work, and the political part works. And you know why? It's because the bureaucrat has got so fat and so healthy that he is the one that prospers. He's the one that has life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The rest of us are feeding him. And when you get to this point, I've been to this point for 20 years. I said, no, I'm not going to sign contracts with you. I'm not going to pay you no more. But I said 20 years ago, if 10 ranchers would followed me, we'd have had this thing beat a long time ago. Today, we still don't have it beat. And what I want to say here is I want to paint a picture in your eye of a picture of America, the big map of America. And about half of that map is covered with red, and it's claiming United States property, under control of the federal government. Well, every bit of that red, and I'm going to use the word every bit of that red is within the United States. So show me in the Constitution where the federal government can own any property within the United States, except very little, like Washington D.C. and Article 1, 8, and 17 property. They can't own property in the United States. Now, before it was a United State, it was a territory. It's territory Utah, territory Nevada. Well, when it was in a territory state, we the people of the territory didn't have the Constitution. Congress had unlimited power to dispose of and make all rules and regulations under territory law. And that's what they're trying to treat us ranchers like now. They want to say, we have unlimited power. We have rules, terms and conditions you have to follow. And if you don't follow them, you know what happens? You end up in a federal court. And where in a federal court did anybody ever win? When did a rancher, a resource user, ever win in a federal court? You can't win in that federal court. It's their court. Now let me bring you back to that map. Every bit of that red on that map on the western United States, and you guys report as ranchers in our industry, you know that the federal government claims property on that red part of that map. But I'll tell you, in 1934, the Taylor Grazing Act was passed. And I don't agree with the Taylor Grazing Act. I don't believe it's constitutional. But let's go ahead and accept the Taylor Grazing Act. What they did in the Taylor Grazing Act is the rancher paid the federal government to map their preemptive adjudicated property rights, and the federal government mapped them and drew lines and said this property, these property rights here belong to this rancher, this property right belongs to that rancher. So now we have our ranches adjudicated. We know where our ranches are, and it's mapped, and it's a record. All of that map is, remember, within a admitted state. Now, we the rancher paid for that work. We paid for the service to do our mapping. After they got it adjudicated, then we continued on paying for get fences and water lines and range improvements. We continued to pay the federal government for a service. But pretty soon the federal government got to saying, well, we are the managers, we're the stewards, and now we're the owner, and we have unlimited power, and now we have multiple uses coming in here, and ranchers, you're not important no more, and we don't even want you here no more. And so people like me, we claim we have preemptive rights created through beneficial use. Now, how in the heck did the bureaucracy get that much power? I mean, they are just bureaucracies. They're not elected officials. None of them are elected officials. They have no policing power. But how did they get that power? Well, let me tell you how they get that power. There are probably maybe 100,000 ranchers that ranch on that red part of the United States. Every bit of that red was either sheep or cattle grazing at one time. Every bit of it has been adjudicated to a rancher, an individual. Now, who's the stewards over the land? Who's the stewards over all that red? Isn't it the rancher? Isn't he the one that's got the rights? Isn't it been adjudicated and mapped? And he is the steward over that land. So again, how in the heck in America can the federal government own all that land? Well, let me tell you how they can. They own that land and control that land because we, the ranchers, signs that grazing permit. And when we sign the bottom of that grazing permit, we're telling the federal government they have unlimited power, just like they had when it was a territory. And we have all of these bureaucrats now, and you know, they come with all of that power because we signed our rights away. We tell the federal government, you have unlimited power. Now, what happens if we have, if the federal government has unlimited power and we've signed that contract? I'm talking about signing that grazing permit or that grazing license. That's what LaVoy was trying to teach the world. That's how come he got killed, because they don't want him to teach that kind of stuff. But let me tell you something. When you sign that contract, you're signing the Constitution, your state, your rights away, because you give them unlimited power. Now let's just take a little instance here. We have a problem, and we've been, you know, the Federal Land Conference and everybody, for years we've talked about government closest to we the peoples. We talked about the county government being the proper form of government. We're talking about sheriffs having policing power. Well, let me tell you something. Let's talk about the sheriff right here in Kane County. We call him up and we have a problem out on our ranch. And the county sheriff, he'll say, I can't help you. You've signed my jurisdiction away. You have a contract with the federal government. Call the BLM or Forest Service and let them come and help you. And he's right. We have signed our constitutional rights away. The sheriff can't help us. Our county commissioner can't help us. Our governor can't help us. Why? Because we have a contract with the federal government. Until we get rid of those contracts, we're going to die and starve to death. Our permits are going to be cut. Our ranches are going to be ruined over and over and over, like it's been happening for the last 50 years. It's not going to stop until we quit signing contracts with the federal government. When you sign a contract, when you quit signing a contract, guess what? The sheriff can come and help you protect your life, liberty, and property. That's what we elect him for, and that's what we pay him for. our county commissioners can start dealing with the resources and making some rules and laws, and so can our legislators. But the problem is, we the ranchers, we caused it, and we continue to cause it by signing the contract with the federal government. Now, I might be wrong.
No, you're not.
But our Constitution, show me where in our Constitution I'm wrong. Show me where LaVoy Finicums was wrong. He gave his life for the principle I just taught you. Quit signing a contract. Quit signing our Constitution away. Quit signing our state sovereignty away. Quit signing the sheriff's constitutional jurisdiction and authority away. His arresting power and policing power. Quit signing that away.
Yeah.
And you ranchers, it's your fault. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is LaVoy Finicums, One Cowboy Stand for Freedom. This is a very important video that I'm making. I'm hoping that you can have a little bit of patience as I try to do a little bit of educating. I'm calling this part 1, LaVoy versus BLM. I'm here on my ranch, and it's beautiful out here. And it's time that we do something more than just talk about freedom and about defending our Constitution. So I want to educate, I want to teach, I want to let you know what I'm personally doing to defend our Constitution. First off, I'm going to just pan here and show you what this pasture is. This is just one of my pastures on my ranch. I don't know how many acres are here, 3,000-4,000 acres in this particular pasture. In 6 years, I've never grazed this pasture off. This is the first year that I'm turning out on this pasture. And that's going to be significant, and I'll explain why. But first, I'm just going to pan and show you this pasture. Okay, as you look around, this is my reservoir. Call this my Upper Kent pasture. A few of my cows sitting on the reservoir. And the range goes to those tree lines, those mountains over there, and it continues to go down to those tree lines that way. Looking south, goes to those tree lines there, and then from there, this pasture goes to that mountain right there. My ranch also goes up on top of that mountain, but this particular pasture is just this valley here. And daughter, come back over here. And this is the best part of my ranch. This is my daughter, Catrielle. She's my second to the youngest, and she helps me with all of this with the rest of my family. But my pasture goes up that way several miles. Again, a lot of acreage here. Never have grazed this off in 6 years. If you look, see the grass? Look how thick it is. Look how green it is. And we're in late summer. And so this is my pasture here, and this is part of my ranch. This grass, I own it. It's called my grazing rights, my forage rights. And these cows are fat and sassy and looking good, and got a few more of my cows down under some trees down there. I'm not very good at technology, but they're down there. So let me move forward here. Put this back down. Hope you can see me. And this is my dog over here, Diamond Hill. Great cow dog. She's pregnant right now. Going to be her last litter. She's getting a little old, kind of like me. A year ago, she and I both got laid up. She got stepped on by a bull, and bull got her and broke all the bones in her back leg, and so she's never really been quite the same, but she loves being out here with me and my family and the cows. She loves it out here. I had a colt come over on top of me about the same time, and we were both feeling kind of old and broken up for a while, but it's good out here. Life's good out here. Now the reason I'm making the video, and this isn't about cows, this isn't about grass, it's not even about my dog, but it is about my family, and and this is about freedom, and this is about the Constitution. I've never been crosswise with the BLM in all the years that I've owned my ranch here. Never had a trespass filed against me. I've never been over what they call the AUMs, which means how many cows I should run. Like I said, I've never run for 6 years in this very pasture here. The point is, they claim that this is theirs. And I claim that the forage right, the grass, is mine. And so let's go to the Constitution, our supreme law of the land. And this is the point, this is the rub, and this is the focus. In Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17. And let me start by going back and laying down the intent of our founding fathers and the intent of the Constitution. Our founding fathers came out of tyranny, and they were really concerned that this land be a land of freedom. So they did several things. One of the first things they did when they laid out the Constitution was they divided the powers into 3 branches, and we all know what those are: the executive, the legislative, and the judicial. So we have 3 branches of power. So they separated those. And the other thing they did to keep from having a centralization of power into a central government, which increases or decreases the freedom of the individual, is that they limited the amount of land mass that this central power could control, called the federal government. Because if you can control the land, you can control the food production, you can control the people. Now, currently the BLM, or the federal government, lays claim to 1/3 of the land mass of the United States. To put that in perspective, you've got to put together the country of Germany, and you must combine it with the country of France. And then you better put in Italy, Spain, throw in Portugal, and then throw in Britain. You got to start throwing all those countries together to begin to get them close to the comparison of the land mass that the federal government owns, say that they own and control. Now, and in this land mass, they claim to have what's called exclusive legislative ability. And what they have done, they have combined all 3 branches of power. And I'll explain that. You have bureaucrats that sit behind desks, and they will write a statute or a regulation, and it has the effect of law, and then they implement that. And now that regulation is enforced by federal rangers who are armed, and they can enforce it. They're empowered to enforce it by lethal means if necessary. If a person gets crosswise with one of these statutes, they're then hauled into a federal court and tried by a federal judge. All 3 branches of power combined under one head. Now, none of these people, do we the people here over whom this is imposed upon, have the power of recall. In other words, we don't elect them. They are not accountable to us. And so our founding fathers knew that that was a potential of combining great power under one head. So they limited, by the letter of the law, what land that the federal government could control. And it's found in Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17. Let me read it to you. I've shared this before, but let me read it to you again. It says, referring to the federal government, it says, to exercise exclusive legislation in all cases whatsoever in such districts not to exceed 10 square miles as may by secession of a particular state and the acceptance of Congress. What is that 10 square miles? Well, that's Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C., the seat of the federal government. That's proper and that's appropriate. They go on. It says, to become the seat of the government of the United States and to exercise like authority over all places purchased by the consent of the legislature of the state in which the same shall be for the erections of forts, magazines, arsenals, dockyards, and other such needful buildings. Okay, they limit the federal government to purchase only those lands needful for the defense of our country, docks, arsenals, forts, and other such needful buildings. And not only that, they can't take it by eminent domain. They must ask the state legislatures if they can purchase it from them. So in this very clause here, by that very sentence there, it acknowledges that the states are the owners of the land. And what happened was that in the beginning, these states, there's one other place that the federal government can exercise control over in landmass, and that's territories, and that's appropriate. It's in the Constitution. They have that right. And so when a territory was to be admitted to the Union, they were to come in on equal footing as the original 13 colonies. And so they were not to be less than. And so at the time of statehood, those lands were to be disposed of to the people of that state. And if you look on a map, you can see that procedure was followed until you start getting out here west. And as time lapsed, as governments are wont to do, they like to hold on to power, hold on to wealth. And so they became slower and slower at disposing this land to the people as they are supposed to do. Until, at such point, they almost quit. And then they did. And then they says, you know what? This land is ours. And they said that we own it. And let me give you a little history on this. I hope you'll follow along with me a little bit here, because it's important to understand this. And it's important to understand so that you can understand who is lawful and who is unlawful. Well, let's actually go to what I'm particularly involved in here, and it's called grazing rights. Now, grazing right is a right that is established by prior appropriation. It is a natural right, and preemptive or prior appropriation is the legal term, and that's how property rights are established, and it's called common law or natural law. For example, I explain this to people to help them to understand this. We understand rights when we look at lines. See, rights are not granted by the government, but a person claims right. There's three things to establish a property right. The first thing is you must claim it. The second thing is you must use it. And the third thing is you must defend it. And I'll do a quick analogy so you can get the gist of this. Okay. We all know about lines. We stand at lines at the grocery store. We stand at lines at the DMV. We stand in lines at the movie theater. Okay. When you stand in line, you create a right. It's self-evident. That's where our founding fathers meant. Certain rights are self-evident. In other words, I'm the first from the line at theater. I have established that by prior appropriation. And so that is claimed. I claimed it. And as long as I stand there, I'm using it. I'm not giving it up. And so I'm using it. So I claim it, I use it. Now the third thing is I must defend it. Well, let's go back to use it. I cannot, after I make this claim, walk away because it's taken too long, and I go get a hamburger and a drink, and then come back and the line is really long and say, hey, I'm first in line. No, what happened? I lost that right because I didn't use it. Okay, now suppose I'm sitting there first in line and the line is long, and in comes a bigger feller, and he says, man, that line is too long, and so he steps in front of me, and I can do one or two things. I can mumble and complain and step back, and in such case, I have given up my right. Or I can defend that right. Those are the two things. Well, what has happened? The federal government has come in and started claiming it. We have been here prior to the BLM being formed. These grazing rights were established. And I'll explain it to you. This particular grazing right here that we're sitting on, all this green grass, all this acreage here. Okay, I bought this grazing right from the ranching family by the name of Ballards. Ballards bought it from the ranching family called the Heatons. okay? The Heatons were some of the first settlers in this country here. There's nobody grazing out here. There wasn't Indians out here grazing on this. There was nobody grazing here. They come out here and they create a reservoir, or they take a spring, they come with a little herd, and they say, you know what? Man, there's good grass, I got some water. I am going to claim this as my forage right, my grazing right. And so they did, and they used it. And then in would come another rancher with some herds, and they'd make them a reservoir over here or develop a spring over there, and they would run. And sometimes we ran in common. You know, we'd have good waters, and they say, okay, I'm going to run 100 head, you run 100 head, and it's called running in common. And, you know, eventually as time passed, we put fence lines on all the borders of these grazing rights. And when we had conflict, the bigger guy come in and says, you know what, I know you're here first, but I'm tough, and I'm going to take. And so sometimes we fought and we shot each other over these grazing rights. Down in the central Arizona, there's a big old basin as you drop off the Mogollon Rim called the Bloody Basin. So we established things through blood, sweat, and tears. These grazing rights are natural rights. They exist sole and separate from any written law. The Constitution doesn't even give us these rights. We have the Constitution because we have these rights. And so here we are, sitting on these grazing rights, ranching it, and along comes the BLM, 1935, 1936, around there, and they look around and they say, you know what, we now passed the Taylor Grazing Act, and all these grazing rights now belong to us. And we have exclusive legislative ability over all these grazing rights. And we will now permit you to graze on these. Here we're going to give you a permit. And we will re-examine every 10 years if we want you here. And in fact, anytime in between those 10 years, if we don't want you here, and we'll change it anytime we want, anytime we choose, through our wisdom and our prerogative. And, you know, as ranchers, we kind of got bullied. We were negligent. We were uninformed. And as they grew, and they came in very softly, very kindly, very nice to help. They didn't come in with a heavy hand. Government never does when they come to take our freedoms. It's always to help us, always to take care of us. And they come in softly. Well, that's what they did. And they've continued to move forward. And so now they're claiming that this is all theirs. And so 1/3 of the landmass, they claim that they have exclusive legislative power over. No representation. That is not America. That is not in the intent of our Constitution, and it is not in the letter of the law. So this is the question. Who is the lawbreaker and who is the law abider? You know, I stood with Cliven Bundy, my friend, and his family, in helping them get their cows back over this very issue. And, you know, I've never been one to try to cause problems. I didn't get in trouble in school. I always raised my hand. I always stood in line. To this day, I do not have a speeding ticket. So it's not in my nature to go out and poke my finger in people's eyes. But there's a time when we need to come and stand up for the Constitution. It is being eviscerated. It is eviscerated. We have lost it. Where does it exist? It only exists in the hearts of about 50 million Americans that understand it and have the fire of freedom burning in their breast, who's willing to stand up. And so many people, you know, good people, so what can we do? We've been voting, we've been donating money, and the candidates always promise to stand up for freedom. Well, what did we do? We gave the Republican Party the House and the Senate. What have they done? Nothing, nothing. And you think we're going to give them a Republican president and they're going to stand up on the Constitution and they're going to require the federal government to live within the frameworks that we the people have given them, namely the Constitution? It's not going to happen. But this is where it will happen, because this Constitution will be saved. The principles vouchsafed herein will prevail. And this is me doing my little part. So what I've done, I sent a letter to the BLM saying thank you so much for your help in managing my ranch, but I shall no longer need your help. I shall manage it myself. And so I will no longer pay them the mandatory fees, nor sign the mandatory terms and conditions, because they're illegal, illegitimate. It's not theirs. I didn't buy it from them. I bought it from the Ballards, Ballards from the Heatons. Heatons established it. Okay, it's not theirs. It never was theirs. They're forbidden from having it. Okay, so let's make that clear. The first thing, if you're going to stand for freedom, you better figure out where the line is. Who's legal, who's lawful. Now, this is the first time that I am going crosswise with the BLM. I've told them that this grazing right is mine. For 6 years, I've not been able to graze off this green pasture, 3,000, 4,000 acres. It might even be more than that. I don't even know. And so now I've got water in my reservoir. My cows need some pasture. And they say, well, you can't turn in here. We've got a regulation on a piece of paper. You, LaVoy Finicum, cannot turn in here on this grass. We don't care that you've not grazed this off in 6 years. But we have on this regulation, on this piece of paper, that you cannot turn in here until October 15th. Well, by October 15th, my water in this reservoir may be dry. It probably will be dry. Then how will I graze off all this grass that is mine, that I pay for, that I fight every year to make my mortgage payment on? Everything I have is tied up into this. My home, my life. I spent my lifetime trying to obtain a ranch, to live like, you know, I loved as a young boy riding with my dad, chasing some cows on the weekend and stuff. And I always wanted to raise my family out here and raise them like this. So I'm putting everything on the line. My home, my dreams, my ranch. But I'm telling the BLM right now, I'm saying to you, this isn't yours. It's mine. Leave me alone. I'm bringing in my few measly little cows, and while I've got water in this reservoir, I'm grazing it off. Well, I was very kind and polite as I talked to them, sent them a very cordial letter, and so I get a call last week. LaVoy, you going to turn in there? I saw some cows down there. Yes, Mr. Range Con, I told you that I'm not recognizing you as the owner of the land. I didn't buy it from you. I'm not paying you. You know, it's not yours. My mortgage isn't to you, BLM. And I didn't buy it from you. I bought it from the Ballards. It never was yours. And so yes, Mr. Rangecon, I'm turning in my cows here. It's grass. It's green. I'm turning in. It is August, middle August. So I'm August, September. I'm turning in about 8-9 weeks early. So we're going to have to trespass you. We're going to have to start documenting. I got to make this. I got to account to my supervisors. I understand that. Go ahead and do what you want. This isn't anything personal against you. It's just not yours. It's mine. So here I am. I'm beginning to document me as this individual standing for the Constitution. Now, there's a lot of talking, a lot of poking holes in the air with the fingers, and very little doing when it comes to standing for our Constitution. Oh, if we'll just donate to the right candidate, if we'll just donate more to the Republican Party, or we'll get a Republican there in the White House, and surely, it's going to all be better. That's crazy. That's crazy. Washington is not going to vote away power. For 100 years, it's taken 100 years to gather in this landmass and to seal it down. They have complete control over it. 1/3 of our country, America. 1/3 of our country. And these federal rangers that run around here, they're armed. Military style. They got their M4s. They got their tac vests. They got their bulletproof vest. You know, you saw them down there at Bundyville or Bunkerville. You saw them pointing their guns at us. They promised to shoot us. Dan Love, you're one of the head of them. You're the point of the spear. You're the enforcement arm of this. You know, you're not a good guy. No way you're a good guy. Nowhere do you have authority to run around here with policing powers. Nowhere do we the people give you authority by force, by lethal means if necessary, to enforce these regulations on these pieces of paper. You know, what are you going to do, Dan? You and the FBI? There's my few little cows right down there under that tree there. You going to come in here like you did with my friend Cliven and say, we're taking these out and you better not get in our way? Well, I'm telling you, leave me alone. Leave me alone, leave Cliven alone. There's some tough ranching families up there in Utah. Stanton Gleaves by name. Now you have 3, Mr. Federal Government, that's willing to stand for the Constitution. It's the ancient law of witnesses. You have a witness in Nevada, Cliven Bundy. You have a witness in Arizona, LaVoy Finicums. And you have a witness in Utah, Stanton Gleaves. We have 3 ranchers that are going to stand and defy you. It's not yours. And, you know, breaking the law right now just by saying this. Just by saying this, it's what's called conspiracy to commit crime. And that's what you guys hauled that county commissioner into court with, Phil Lyman, and you convicted him. And he's going to face a year in prison possibly and $100,000 to $300,000 in fines because of this very thing that I am saying right now. I don't care. You know, if you go to the Bible, there's actually a story I really love. You might be familiar with it. It's called the captives that were in Babylon by the name of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Three. Anyway, the greatest force upon the face of the earth at that time was the Babylonian Empire. Nebuchadnezzar, the most powerful man in the world. And anyway, he knows Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and they're out there and they make a golden image, and they command everybody to fall down and worship the golden image. And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they don't fall down. They don't worship it. And Nebuchadnezzar gets a little upset, but he knows him. He calls him up there and says, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, what are you doing? What are you doing? You know, if you'll just sign these mandatory terms and conditions and pay your grazing fees, it's going to be okay. We can work, you know, and the music will play again. You just fall down, worship the golden image, and it will be okay. And I love the response. He says, because, Nebuchadnezzar goes on, says, because who can save you? Because if you don't, I will throw you in the fiery furnace. And what God can save you from the fiery furnace? And I love the answer. It's great. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replies, says, O king, we are not careful to answer thee. In other words, saying, you know, we're not going to measure our words. We're not going to be tepid. We're not going to be timid. You know, they're speaking to the greatest power in the world this time. These 3 captives should say, O king, we're not careful to answer thee. Our God whom we serve will deliver us. But if not, be it known unto thee, we will not sign those mandatory terms and conditions. We will not pay those grazing fees. And he will save us. And if not, so be it. But we will not bow. We will not comply. We will not bend. America, stand. If you want to know what you can do, here you go. Stand. I'll let you know what's going on. I'll keep updating you. I want you to download this so it doesn't get scrubbed from off the internet. Then share it, upload it, send it out. And you can follow me here. You can follow me here. You can follow Stanton Gleaves and Cliven Bundy. Here I am. And I'll document this as it goes forward. They've called me and said, okay, we're going to have to start doing something. Well, we'll see what the next step is. Maybe they'll just leave me alone. I hope they do, because it's not theirs. Stanton Gleaves has some county commissioners with some grit and some county sheriffs up there. He ranches in 5 different counties, and those county sheriffs are standing up against him. Bill M says to Stanton Gleaves there, you can't turn out here in these pastures. And Stanton Gleaves says, yes, I'm going to turn out in these pastures. And the county commissioners and the sheriffs stand up behind him. Proper form of government closest to the people. Those county sheriffs are elected by those people. Those county commissioners are accountable to those people. They have the power of recall. And anyway, they back him down. Now, I've talked to my county sheriff here. I'm going to go visit with him more. He's been very friendly over the phone. I'm going to visit with him, shake his hand, take the measure of the man, see how deep his love is for the Constitution, see about his understanding. But whether he backs me or not, I'm going to stand. But he said some very kind things. The BLM tried to get him to give resources, the Mojave County Sheriff Department, manpower and stuff, to move against Cliven here recently, and told him no way. So good for him. We shall see how it goes. America, stand. The night is far spent. The Constitution has been shredded, but it lives in your heart. You know what freedom is and what freedom isn't. Stand, because when you stand, others will stand with you. And God can't stand with you if you don't stand. Once you stand, you can expect the hand of providence to be over you. Don't matter how it ends, it matters how you stand. This is LaVoy Finicums. One Cowboy stands for freedom. See you later. We've been occupying here for 16 days. The Hammonds have been in prison for 14. That is way too long. This is not just a little occupation. This is a movement that's taking place across our country. And I want you to know that this Friday at 4 p.m. here on site, we're holding a signing ceremony. We have ranchers that have committed here in Harney County, and ranchers from New Mexico, and we're hoping that the ones in Utah will make it too, that are traveling here to have a signing ceremony and throw off the overlordship of the federal government. There's been some great articles that have come out here. I've only got to look at a couple of them, but like Joe Heim, Washington Post, I thought he did a fairly good job in an article that he gave out. Pretty fair representation. I texted Max and Joe, I appreciate it, but there's one correction. There was says the anti-government, and I hear that's in a lot of articles, the anti-government people. But I'm calling this out here. We are not anti-government. We're not anti-federal government. I believe in the federal government. We believe in the federal government. We need the federal government. The federal government has some very specific responsibilities, such as keeping our borders secure, defending our nation, keeping commerce regular, and just a few other narrowly defined things. So I'm going to say that again. We are not anti-government. I also want to reach out to the Native Americans. I grew up on the Navajo Reservation, a little place called Page, Arizona. From a child till I left high school, I was on the reservation. And I'm very aware of what the federal government has done with the Native people and the tribes. The BIA rules over that res in lots of ways, through either money or control. But the BIA, Bureau of Indian Affairs, the tribes need to be free. The Native American people need to be free. And so we're reaching out to have a liaison between us and the Paiute people here. If they have concerns, we would like to invite them to come and visit with us. And this contest is just beginning, but we will not stop. We will not back down. We will not be deterred. Make it known clearly. These buildings are very symbolic. They're a bunch of rock buildings 35 miles away from nowhere, but they're symbolic. We're holding this. It's been the federal government's fortress, their castle, and we're holding it. We shall not give it up to them ever. It returns to Harney County when it goes back. So make that clear.
Grassley gave out this statement when he canceled the meeting. I'm sure you saw it. He said,
No, I did. I heard something about safety or something.
Yeah, he said that he was concerned about people protesting in front of the senior center and like blocking entrance into the building, and he was also worried about people having firearms. And so I'm wondering, I'm wondering what you think about that. Whether do you think he was referring to you guys?
Oh, I'm sure he was. But that would be too much energy for something that I think is of no value. I mean, he had he's going to set up metal detectors, and it sounded like just an event that who would ever want to go to that. And so I think it died of its own accord. Nothing. We had no plans of of doing anything. I mean, we're kind of focused on the job at hand, and so to my knowledge, there was nothing that we were going to do in regards to his meeting.
What do you think of the fact that it's gotten to a point where public meetings are being canceled?
Well, he canceled it. You know, we should have as much dialogue and openness as possible. Have you felt the change in the tone and tenor of the feds out there? We certainly have. We used to could walk up to them and talk with the FBI agents in a friendly manner, unarmed and stuff, but the tenor has changed. They have become more hardened, and when they step out of their vehicles, now they're stepping out with their rifles, and they're not willing to engage in just friendly dialogue. And so, and then I'm assuming that you're aware of all the extra vehicles that they're bringing in and the increase in manpower that they're ramping up. And we're saying, why the rattling of the saber? Why, when we're so far away from anybody out here in the middle of nowhere, why are you ramping it up? Why do you fly your planes over nonstop? And why do you have your drones? Because they're droning this now. And they're actually flying their photographer planes. They're doing all the things. They're doing all the things that shows that they want to take some kinetic action against us. And we're saying, why be so unfriendly? Why be so threatening? Why are you threatening lethal force when we're so far away?
You really feel like they're ramping it up, that they're going to take some sort of, you said kinetic, like physical action?
All the behaviors is in the preparation of a campaign of some sort, and whether it's just a saber rattling to try to intimidate, or whether they actually mean it, we don't know. All we know is what we see.
Hey guys, this is Jason Manteno with Oath Keepers Media here. I'm here at the Maller Refuge with the Citizens for Constitutional Freedom, here with my friend Finicum LaVoy and LaVoy Finicum.
LaVoy Finicum,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep. I'm here with LaVoy Finicum, who, as you know, I've interviewed before, and he's really taken a stand with the BLM with his own ranch. And now I was very pleased to see that he's here amongst our fellow patriots that are out here taking a stand against the BLM. Thanks for taking the time to speak with me.
Oh, absolutely, Jason. It's an honor to meet you in person.
Yes.
I enjoyed visiting with you, but now I get to meet you in person.
And that's what's great about these operations is, you build these relationships online, and then when it's time to do some real work, the real men get out there and women, and they get out there and do that work. So it's good to meet those people when you can. So tell us why you're here. What made you decide to leave your ranch, come out here to Burns, or outside of Burns, Oregon, and do what you're doing?
Let me tell you, I hadn't planned on being here, but let's be very clear what brought me here. It was the atrocities that are being perpetrated upon the Hammond family, where he and his son, 75 years old, and he and his son, Dwight and Steve, are now thrown back into prison a second time for the same offense, and for a fire of 140 acres of brush.
Right.
And which happened 11 years ago, by the way.
Right. And this is, you and I, you're from, not Nevada, you're across the line, right? Arizona, but very close to the Bundy Ranch.
Yeah.
And me being up in Montana and cow country up there, these types of burns happen. I run past burns happening really on a weekly basis up there, whether it's, part of the forest burns or part of, just ranch land burns.
Yeah, prescribed burns has always been part of land management. The federal government does it all the time. Private individuals do it on their private land with these big areas. It's a way for maintenance of the land to help burn off unproductive brush there's no feed, to drive the nutrients back into the soil so that there's more feed for wildlife and cattle alike.
Absolutely. Now, this case is a little different than we saw with, say, the Bundys or even yourself, where we had private land happening. There's this, and there was a court case. They were found guilty by a jury of their peers, supposedly. Now, there's some real questions with that, though, and I want to address that because
I don't think it was a jury. It was just a court ruling.
Just a court ruling, okay.
Not a jury of their peers.
So, but they were found guilty. But there's some serious questions around that. In that there was evidence now that's coming up that was the prosecution.
You're referring to the Hammonds. That's how you're referring to Cliven. Yes, it was a jury of their peers, and they were found guilty. Correct. And yes, there are some real serious questions coming to light where this needs to be relooked at. That's part of that redress of grievances. Why, and that is where Ammon has taken and exhausted over a long period of time trying to get the officials to, the judges, the county commissioners, and others to reconvene just an evidentiary hearing to relook at these new things that have come to light.
Right.
Petitions with tens of thousands of names on them. They completely ignored that large of a response just to say, oh, they're all crazies. So that is what the judge said of these people here in this area and other places that had the concerns and signed that petition. They're just crazies.
Right, and that's kind of how they try to label the entire movement. A lot of times we've seen that, but that's far from the case. Everybody involved seems to be very level-headed, very calm, very intelligent people to begin with. And you're right, Ammon has done an exhaustive study. For you people who want to go check that out, it's at bundyranch.blogspot. I'll put the link into the notes at the bottom of this video. But please check that out. It really is an important part of this case. So a lot of people also are a little concerned that you guys have occupied these buildings here. And I gotta say, at first when I heard about it, I thought it may not have been the wisest decision just because of the timing with what was happening with gun legislation with Obama. It seemed like a good, gift.
Mm-hmm.
And but I gotta tell you, being here, experiencing the people that are out here and the atmosphere, my mind is changing a bit. And I got to say that, it feels more like the occupation of a dean's office, something you see at a campus.
Right.
And how many people in the administration right now have been part of those types of political activism?
I think a few might have.
Yeah.
Don't know specifically.
So let's talk about that. And yes, there are guns here. There's Second Amendments being exercised. But I think it's important to note that as a whole, the liberty movement, since Bundy Ranch on, and you'll recall at Bundy Ranch, it first started off without any guns.
Exactly.
They started off, I remember that.
I never had one there.
Yeah. Pulling up his shirt saying, hey guys, I left my guns at home. I don't even have a pocket knife. And that was the day that they sucked the attack dogs on them.
And tased them.
Yeah, exactly. The next day, the guns came out and it changed the dynamic. And people were treated with respect. People were treated like human beings.
Well, there's an old saying, I thought it came from the old country of France, where it says one sword tends to keep another sword in its sheath. And that's exactly where all the guns should be, is holstered in their sheaths, and we should all be neighborly, kind, and friendly.
Absolutely. And I want to really point out, folks, I've been to every operation that Oath Keepers has been a part of. Now, this is not an Oath Keepers operation, but it's an important part of the Liberty Movement, which is why I'm here. From every operation I've been to, not one bullet has flown, not one drop of blood has spilled. That every one of these operations has been done, with grown men and women acting responsibly.
Yeah. I hope that it always continues to be that way. But regardless, we stand, for freedom. We stand peacefully, but we stand firmly.
Can you tell us a little bit about what the decision-making process went into the occupation here?
I can. For myself, I came here because of atrocities. The Father Ham family was going to come and put some flowers on the doorstep and then go home. And as I was traveling up here, I think Cliven had called just to check on me, see how I was doing with my own issues with the BLM. And I told him that I was going to go up and support the Hammonds. He said, well, maybe there can be some carpooling. And so his son Ryan met me, and he hopped in my truck, and we tooled on up here. And we expected to be back the very next day. Ryan didn't. I think he had one change of clothes. I had a couple extra change of clothes, but that's the way it went down. We found out it just prior to the march. In other words, when we got ready to, just about an hour, 45 minutes before the march, excuse me, we were pulled into a meeting wherein the Ammon listed all the avenues that he had exhausted over an extensive period of time to get redress for the Hammonds, and how they had been flatly ignored, not responded to. And then he said, if we allow this to stand, this shall become the new normal for American citizens. It is time to do more than just to allow these things to go on and to have good people to be terrorized as they have been, and now in prison, not once again, but twice. And this is just unacceptable. And so he says we need to act. And at that point, he laid out the plan that we should come out here and occupy. And so what happened was, just before the march, about 45 minutes before, we pulled into Burns, me and Ryan, just prior to the march, probably about maybe 2 hours or hour and a half before the march. And so he called us inside with a meeting. There's locals there. I met them, and there was us and a few other people that had come to support, and where he then, again, as I said, laid out his case of every avenue that had been exhausted and flatly ignored and refused to be even responded to in any manner. But I've been following what's happening over in Bend, Oregon with that ranching family. I feel from my heart we should come over here and occupy this Malheur Wildlife Refuge. And so I raised my hand and said, Ammon, are you telling me that all these years we've been trying to draw a defensive line, getting pressed here, stepping back, pressed here, stepping back, and we keep losing ground? He says, are you now saying that this is a step forward, a peaceful step forward to reclaim? He says, yes, I am. I said, well, that's what I thought you meant. And he says, who will go with me? And there's actually a county deputy in the room, and there was several people. This is we appreciate what you're doing, but this is just one bridge too far for us. And they excused themselves. And at what point Ammon went and did the support march,
right?
And me and Ryan and a handful of other people. I was the last car. There was about a caravan of 4, maybe 5 vehicles that came here. I think it's 4 in a trailer or something like that. Not very many, just a handful of us. And so we're tooling. I'm actually the only one in my truck. And actually, it was a rental car because my truck had broke down. so I'm tooling out here, and as I'm coming out, you do a lot of thinking, because have you ever heard the term crossing the Rubicon?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it means that when you cross Rubicon, when Caesar crossed the Rubicon, that means there's no turning back.
Right.
And so, anyway, I'm driving out at the very last vehicle, and I'm saying, I haven't crossed the Rubicon yet, but I'm getting close to it. Is this really, and so, I said, I'm with you, Ammon, when he said he was with me, and, we actually knelt down and prayed, and we come out, but you got a lot of time. It's like almost 45 minutes or an hour out here, so a lot of time to think about that as we're traveling out. And anyway, because there's no going back.
Right.
There's no go back. And as I'm traveling out, I want to share this experience with you, that it's big flat, so your readers or your viewers understand it's just snow and big old flat, and the road's kind of raised, and there's fence posts along the side on both sides. And up ahead, there's this big, beautiful bald eagle just sitting on the post watching us come. And as we go by, and the last time I go by, he lifts off and flies, and I go, it's okay. This is for freedom. Freedom is worth everything.
It's amazing you say that story, because as we were coming in convoy yesterday, I was embedded with 3%ers and the guys coming out here. As we were driving up, not before this turn here, but over, literally the same thing happened, where there was an eagle, and we made mention over the radios how, there's this bald eagle, and it seems to be a good sign for freedom.
Well, this to me is deeply personal and spiritual to me, because I believe that God intends for all His children to live free. I believe that. And there's no way that what has happened to the Hammonds is freedom. And the reason that has happened is because we have allowed such a centralization of power without accountability of the people. And so if it had not been for that, I would not be here, sitting here in the now newly renamed Harney County Resource Center. And so I am. And you know, we've laid everything on the line. You know, all that we have, you know, is in jeopardy, and that's okay. It doesn't matter. What matters is you try to do what's right and just let the chips fall where they may. That's what you do.
All right. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk with us. Is there anything else you want to add before we let you go?
No, one thing I want to do say, because sometimes they get a bad rap, is the militia. And, you know, they came out with tacked out and stuff, but they travel that way in a protective detail.
Right.
And that's understandable. But the media loves to eat up. But that's who they are. And from a distance, we have felt the support of them saying to the federal government, just leave them alone.
Right.
They're not hurting anybody. They're 35 miles from the nearest place. They're out in the middle of a snow patch. They're not threatening anybody. Just leave them alone. Don't do crazy. Leave them alone. And I think they feel that. And I understood when the news media person told me today that indeed they were going to unoccupy the school and let the kids go back to school today. The federal agents that occupied that and made a fortress out of the school, you know, they're the ones that instilled fear in the community, coming and setting up like a armed camp, and then lying to us as, oh, we had to close it down because the families were scared. They closed it down so that they could use it as a staging place for a military operation.
Yeah.
What liars? What's liars? We don't need to escalate things like this.
Well, it's illegal for me and you to lie to them. You know, we get in trouble for that, but there's no laws for them to.
There's a double standard. Yeah. It's time that the federal government be held to. We should be equal under the law. For example, you talk about equal under the law. The Hammonds set a backfire to save more land, a backfire to stop another fire.
And they actually did. They saved it.
They did. And they are charged as a terrorist and go to prison, okay, twice. Where I'm from, Kanab Mountain, there's what's called the Warren Fire. Just, you know, the last big fire out there not that long ago, where it was a controlled burn by who? The federal government. It gets out of hand. Burns thousands and thousands of prime timber. Did anybody go to jail? Did anybody even lose their job?
No.
So we live under two sets of standards. We are not equal under the law. We have the federal class that protects their own. And then we have us, thus the lower class.
Sure, and even the state employees too. I think there seems to be
a hierarchy.
You're either part of the system or you're not.
And where does the privileged class actually receive their monies from? It's from the working class.
They do.
And so
it's a false economy. It really is.
It is, and we all understand that. But this is just such an egregious example. How could we have done anything less? We Ammon exhausted every avenue. There was no other recourse to take but to peacefully stand up and take this, to make the statement, to try to get redress for the Hammonds and for other purposes of freedom too.
Well, folks, I want to make it very clear that we talk a lot about the background to this story and the research that's gone into it and all that background information. And I want to challenge each and every one of you to go out there I'm going to include links in my articles and in this video to these different references, these information piles, if you will, that back up everything we're saying. And I want to challenge you to go through it, read it, and understand the backstory that we're talking about here, and really across the board in these western states with each one of these egregious happenings, whether it's a guy in Montana or Wyoming with putting a pond in his backyard and being prosecuted as a terrorist there, to the Hammonds, to the Bundys. The information's there, folks, and we need to really bone up on that information and be able to speak intelligently about it. So please take the time, go out there and take the time to read up.
I hope I'm not sure if I completely finished my thought about those that showed up, the militia that showed up and came down and talked to us. Again, I just really want to put out a thank you, because from a distance they they make us feel safe here. And they don't have to be here on site, but from a distance we feel their support. And so again, to all the Americans that have prayed for us, and even though they may not have agreed or not quite understand, but we felt their prayers. We have heard and listened to their support and stuff, and we are not stopping. We're not going to back down. We will not, as Ammon say, we will leave not a minute too soon. Okay. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Awesome.